On everyone. So, the Oklahoma City Thunder are expected to look to move Josh Giddey this upcoming offseason. Josh Giddey just hasn't performed to the level in which they need him to. He's kind of the one and most likely odd man out on the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, their hope is to kind of take him, package the plethora of draft picks and various things that they have to kind of get some various upgrades out on the perimeter, particularly the three is a big conversation to be had. But nonetheless, they want to find some level of upgrades. Just another piece that could really make an impact on the Thunder. Right? Thunder were the number one seed in the Western Conference. They were a team that no one would have been shocked if they made the conference finals or maybe even came out of the Western Conference. They have a ton of cap space. They have a ton of assets. I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder are in the best position you could possibly be in. Top 5 player, right? They can just make the right upgrade or two and right position or two. All of a sudden, you could be looking up and going like, wow, here we are in the NBA Finals if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder. And one of the teams, based on reports that are coming out, that could be interested in Josh Giddey and potentially trade Kyle Kuzma is the Washington Wizards. So the Washington Wizards are exploring potential trades this offseason for Kyle Kuzma. They are interested in moving off of Kuz for the right price. Now, their asking price, based on reports, has dropped, right? Around the trade deadline, they wanted like ridiculous. They wanted like 3 or 4 firsts for Kyle Kuzma and all this madness. But now Washington seems a little more determined to unload Kyle Kuzma for a more fair, reasonable price, right? Whatever that is, we'll see what it ultimately becomes, if they're even able to pull off a deal. But the idea is that it would be something along the lines of Josh Giddey plus a pick or something for Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he gets to go. He gets to go to an actual contending team and actually gets to play for potentially an NBA championship. He would slot in and fit in pretty seamlessly, right? Because he could play the 3, he could play the 4, defend a little bit. He's got good size, good length. He's been on a contending team before in the Los Angeles Lakers, won a championship with the Lakers. So he's not afraid of the moment. He was a big piece in that contention team or in that championship winning team. So, Kuzma is a guy that comes in, has some level of NBA championship experience, can slot in an either wing position, right? Play him alongside Chet at the 5, Chet at the 5, Kuz at the 4, or you could play him at the 3. Right, has some good versatility, can defend multiple positions, right? Doesn't need the ball in his hands too heavily, right? Play off ball, hit the shot. Big question is that something that Kuzma would want? Not so much in the sense of going and playing for a contender, but Kuz has got it pretty cushioned in Washington, right? He gets to kind of be the guy. He has talked and has spoken in the past about how he didn't like being like kind of the 3rd, 4th fiddle with the Lakers and they won a championship, right? He kind of talked pretty heavily about how he doesn't want to be like another, like just a role guy. Like he doesn't want to be just another guy. He wants his field goal attempts. He wants to be able, he's got his championship. He's got his bag, right? He just wants to live his best life, play as much basketball and just go out there and hoop, which is the thing, right? Like is Kyle Kuzma, is he somebody that's willing to go to the Thunder and buy in? Because on the surface, this does make sense for kind of all parties involved, right? If you're Washington, your hope is that, okay, you get some picks, that's nice. The Thunder, they care less about the picks. They have more picks than they know what to do with. Like at some point, they're going to have to start shelling out picks just to shell out picks, right? Because they got so many draft picks. But for Washington, you're like, okay, you get some picks. You get a guy in a Josh Giddey that you're hoping can kind of get back to being the guy that he was prior to all the off-court stuff, right? He's still very young. He's still a guy that can do multiple things on the court. His offense at times is very questionable, right? His shooting in particular. But this is a guy that, can rebound the ball well. He's got good size. He's still only 21 years old, right? So if he's a guy that can come in and really make an impact and kind of be a piece and part of like your cornerstone for the future, makes sense. Where Kyle Kuzma, he's a bit older, right? Kyle Kuzma isn't old by any stretch of the imagination, right? Kyle Kuzma's 28, but still like 21 compared to 28 for a team that's looking to rebuild and kind of go in a new direction. Josh Giddey makes some sense. And if you're the Thunder, it makes sense for you because you're like, okay, we get a guy, we're in this like win now mode. we have this window that we capitalize on. Kyle Kuzma makes sense as being just a legit 3-and-D guy in this league. Go get you 20 on any given night, right? Should, in theory, slot and fit in next to Chet and SGA and Williams and all the guys, right? So it does make sense. It's just, is Kuzma willing to go and buy it, right? Like, to me, if you're the Thunder and you could flip Josh Giddey into Kyle Kuzma, is it my favorite? No, right? I would prefer like a Lauri Markkanen is my favorite, like, pick. Like, if you could get anybody, I think Lauri Markkanen on the Thunder, good luck. I think that is terrifying, potentially terrifying. That would be my biggest, if I was the Thunder, that would be my biggest push. That's who I'd go after more than anybody. But if that ends up, not being an option or it becomes too pricey or whatever, I do think you could do worse than Kyle Kuzma, right? I think Kyle Kuzma, and another big thing with Kyle Kuzma that I think is very important is his contract declines as it goes on, right? Which is good for the Thunder because they're going to have to start paying guys soon. So his contract this upcoming season is $23.5 million. In 2025, 2026, it drops to 21. And then in 26, 27, it drops to 19 million. So when the Thunder need to start paying guys, his contract is basically going to be $6 million less. So they'd have more money than they would have otherwise if they were to go get somebody. Where a guy like Lauri Markkanen, he's going to need a new contract, and you're probably maxing him out, right? So there is this contract incentive of like him decreasing. There is the contract versus production, right? Again, Kyle Kuzma is a excellent player. He is a guy that I do think makes a world of sense. It's just, will he buy it? Like, that's my biggest concern, right? Because just some of his comments in the past of him just kind of like, oh, he really loves being able to just shot chuck and not be the most efficient that he possibly can. I mean, he's coming off of a solid season, right? He's coming off 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, half a steal, a block will round it up, be nice. Shooting 77.5% from the foul line, which is the best he has shot for his career. By the way, 52.1% EFG, which is the third best of his career. He shot 53% from the 2-point range, which is, again, his third best of his career on 12.3 attempts. From 3-point range, however, still struggling at 33.6%, which isn't good. That is his fifth worst in his 7-year career. So again, not great from 3-point range. And even the previous year, he shot 33.3%. So he actually slight uptick, but he's shooting it at 6.4% per game, field goal percentage of 46.3% on 18.8 attempts per game, which again isn't great. He's taken 18.8 attempts to just give you 22 points. Efficiency isn't really his calling card, but again, he is a guy that can do multiple things, have some real value. And when he was that third guy alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, he actually was more efficient and better than he ever was. Because again, on Washington, it's on a bad team. He gets to kind of just shot chuck. He gets to do whatever he wants. But if you look at, like the 2019-2020 season, right? Where, he wins a championship. That season, he averaged 12.8 points per game, right? 4.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists, half a steal, half a block, right? Shot 73.5% from the foul line. He shot 51.8% from 2-point range, and he shot 31.6% from 3-point range. But the next year, 2021-2022, he shot 36.1% on 5.6 attempts. Shot 2-point percentage of 52.5%, had an EFG of 53.3%, which was the best of his career, right? All of these numbers in the 2020-2021 season, right, which is when he really kind of took strides, right? He, again, averaged 12.9 points on quality efficiency, right? So if he can get back to that and play alongside, like I said, an SGA and everybody, and start getting rather efficient shooting the 3 ball and he's never been like a lights out 3-point. He's always been kind of inconsistent. He's kind of one of those hot and cold 3-point shooters, right? He's one of those guys where he's either shooting the lights out or he just can't buy a bucket or can't buy a three. But again, in that season, that 2020, 2021 season, can he get back to that? Can he get back to being, can he just be a 15 to 20 point a game guy on 36% from three and like 50% from the field? If you can get that and he can defend multiple positions, add some size, help with some versatility, he's not your second, third best. He'd be at that point your fourth, at times, maybe even your fifth best guy. Right, like that to me, and look, he's better than Giddey, so you're getting an upgrade regardless. It's just, again, I still boil down to like, is Kyle Kuzma, is he going to buy in and accept whatever role is asked of him so Oklahoma can make that push to win a championship? Or is this something where it's like, man, we shouldn't have made that move, right? Because, they made the move for Gordon Hayward, and you already heard, hey, that was not the best trade, right? Sam Presti's over here like, I made a mistake. That was my bad, right? Like, does that happen with Kyle Kuzma? I don't know. Again, not my favorite choice, but I don't hate the idea. I think it made sense for both sides. I think it made sense for the Wizards. I think it makes sense for the Thunder. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like this trade? Do you not like this trade? Do you like Kyle Kuzma on the Oklahoma City Thunder? Do you think no, keep him on the Washington Wizards? Do you like Josh Giddey on the Wizards? Do you think no, keep him on the Oklahoma City Thunder? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.